Welcome to Nypro Mebane. In our plant, we produce high-quality injection-molded packaging and healthcare products. We strive for operational excellence. Your knowledge and participation will ensure plant safety and continued production of quality products. Here are some important points for you to remember. We strive to have no injuries and produce high-quality products. Our production boards give up-to-date information on machine status and quality updates. All persons that will enter the production area must view the video. Visitors must have an appointment to be admitted into the building. They must sign in with the receptionist and visibly display the visitor badge. A card that is valid for 1 calendar year will be issued to you once you have completed the training video. You must present this card each time you enter the plant. All visitors and contractors are required to watch the video annually. Visitors must sign out before leaving the plant and return their badge. Contractors that will be working in the production area must view the video along with completing additional training before they report to the job. Temporary workers are trained by their employers before their first day on the job. We expect all employees, visitors, contractors, and temporary employees to follow all safety rules on site. Visitors and contractors that have work or business at the Nypro Annex must first sign in at the main plant. The only vehicles allowed on the right side of the plant are those making deliveries. All other traffic must be limited as much as possible. Tractor trailers have the right of way in these areas. Truck drivers are to remain at the designated area in the warehouse while the truck is being loaded or unloaded. Trailers must have their wheels chocked while they are parked at the dock. If a trailer is disconnected, it must have a trailer check under the front of the trailer. Please obey all traffic rules at the plant. The plant speed limit is 5 miles per hour. Please do not block any of the entrances or driveways. Park in a designated parking spot. Watch for pedestrian traffic. Pedestrians always have the right-of-way. Within the facility, travel paths are designed gray. These aisles are designed for pedestrians only. Our plant is tobacco-free. All forms of tobacco are prohibited on campus. Possession and use of alcohol and drugs is prohibited. Firearms are prohibited on campus. Personal protective equipment, PPE. Appropriate attire is required at all times. Tank tops and shorts are not permitted at work. Clothes need to be neat with no holes, frays, or foreign objects like glitter or sequins. Safety glasses with side shields are required in all production and warehouse areas. Prescription glasses must meet ANSI safety standards and have permanent side shields. Safety overglasses can also be worn as an alternative. Safety glasses will be provided by your employer. Visitors of Nypro will receive safety glasses or any other required PPE from their host. Employees, contractors, and temporaries must wear safety shoes. Examples of safety shoes are steel or composite toe shoes. No sandals, open-toed shoes, or high heels are permitted on the production floor. Hearing protection is required in all production areas. Hearing protection is available at the gowning areas at both entrances to the production area. High-vis vests are required in all warehouse areas. Special personal protective equipment is required during some processes or tasks. Contractors and temporaries must provide their own equipment and have the required training and knowledge of the PPE. EHS will review all plans before start of work to ensure all PPE requirements are met. Fall protection must be used when you are working above 4 feet and are not protected by a guardrail. A full body harness along with 100% tie-off is required at all times. Contractors, temporaries, and employees must wear fall protection when using any type of scissor lift or boom lift. The rails of the scissor lift must not be used as a platform. When performing overhead work, the area must be cordoned off with a 10-foot buffer. Any person within the barricade must wear a hard hat. A spotter must be used to warn affected employees. Emergency Response Plan. An emergency and disaster response plan has been developed for the facility. The plan ensures the appropriate responses will be made in any given emergency. Evacuation routes are posted throughout the facility. Emergency evacuation drills are held annually to ensure employees know how to evacuate and can assist visitors and contractors in the event of an emergency. When the fire alarm sounds, contractors and visitors are to evacuate through the nearest exit and assemble at one of the 2 assembly areas, either at the mailbox at the front of the building or on the back left side of the building in the grassy area. Look for lighted emergency signs to direct you to the nearest exit. Please remember that the nearest exit may be behind you. Group with your team and personnel will be accounted for. Remain in the designated area until the emergency coordinator gives the all clear. In the event of a small fire, those trained to use a fire extinguisher may use them to put out a fire. Fire extinguishers are located on all poles that are painted red. Report all fires and/or fire extinguisher discharges to Environmental Health and Safety, or EHS, and facilities immediately. If a fire cannot be contained, walk to the nearest exit, pull the fire alarm, and exit the building immediately. Do not block aisles, doorways, or emergency equipment. If you have any questions about our emergency procedures, please call EHS at 1433 or 336-380-8354. Medical. If you become injured or ill while at the plant, first responders are available to assist you. They can arrange for external medical care if it is required. In the event of an emergency, tune the radio to channel 4 and say first responder to your area. All supervisors and leads have a radio with them. A list of all first responders is at every automated external defibrillator, or AED. All injuries and illnesses to contractors and temporaries must be reported to their employer. Each company has their own specific reporting procedures. Nypro Mebane EHS must be notified of all injuries and illnesses. Quality and Good Manufacturing Processes, GMP. We strive to manufacture high-quality products for both packaging and healthcare clients. In order to maintain this standard, strict policies and procedures have been developed at the site. Nypro Mebane must comply with good manufacturing practices, also referred to as GMPs, as defined by the Food and Drug Administration. In addition to standards set by Nypro, all employees, visitors, contractors, and temporary employees must comply with these standards. The following regulations must be followed on the production floors. No food or drinks may be consumed in the production areas. Designated areas include the employee break rooms, office areas, meeting rooms, and outside sitting areas. No person with open sores or wounds shall be permitted in the clean room area of this facility. All persons must practice good sanitation, hygiene, and good health habits. Hands must be washed before entering production areas. Hair nets and beard nets must be worn in all production areas. Additional gowning may be required in different areas of the plant. Please contact your host to understand the level of gowning required in the areas you will be entering. Visitors, contractors, and temporaries must follow the same rules as employees when entering production areas. No jewelry or makeup can be worn in production areas. Fingernail polish is not allowed unless nitrile gloves are worn in the production areas. Environmental. Protecting the environment, air, water, and land is very important to Nypro Mebane. Nypro Mebane has multiple permits and must follow all city, state, and federal regulations. No liquids or other material may be disposed of in any drain or sump without EHS approval. No solid or liquid material can be dumped or spilled onto the grounds without the approval of EHS. All spills must be reported to EHS and cleaned up immediately. We are classified as a conditionally exempt small quantity generator of hazardous waste. We are required to identify if waste is hazardous. When it is hazardous, we are required to mark, ship, dispose, and minimize if possible. Our facility has a very strict stormwater discharge permit, no exposure permit. Only rainwater can be released into the storm drains. Contractors that work with liquids and solvents must have spill containment and cleanup materials with them. The facility and annex has compactors for non-hazardous and cardboard materials. No free-flowing liquids are allowed in the dumpsters. A sharps container is located in the HR department. Refrigeration equipment contains ozone-depleting substances. Only licensed and contracted service technicians are allowed to work on this equipment. Accurate service records must be kept on file to comply with state and federal regulations. Once service is complete on the equipment, leave all records with the facility manager. Hazard communication. There are many types of chemicals used in the Nypro Mebane facility. In compliance with the Hazard Communication Regulation, new employees, contractors, and temporaries must be informed before working with them. Employees are trained yearly on the standard. Safety sheets or STS hard copies are available 24 hours a day at various locations within the plant, including the front production walkway, the PPE area of the new addition, annex production area, and EHS. Please contact EHS if you have any questions about the chemical you are working with. Contractors who plan to use chemicals on site must notify their host and receive approval from EHS before any chemicals are brought on site. Contractors must maintain their own inventories of SDS sheets on site. All chemicals on site must be used and stored properly, especially any flammable chemicals. Our plant has LEED certification, and it is important to use non-toxic chemicals. Please ensure you use green chemicals whenever possible. Safe work practices. All contractors performing work on site must be able to provide documentation of competency to perform their work. Communication with Nypro Mebane employees adjacent to the area where you are working is essential to everyone's safety and requires planning before work commences. High-risk work requires additional permitting and thorough planning to prevent injuries or equipment damage. High-risk activities include but are not limited to lockout-tagout, operating forklifts, demolition or construction activities, working on energized equipment, work on elevated surfaces such as scissor lifts or boom lifts, working on sprinklers and/or fire suppression systems, trenching, hot work, confined space work, any work that may expose affected workers to a hazard. Anytime you are doing hot work, fire system repair, live electrical work, confined space, or other safe work practices, contractors must obtain the proper permits and complete hazard review with EHS before work commences. Completed permits must be returned to EHS. Lockout-tagout. Lockout-tagout is necessary to prevent injuries from the unexpected startup or release of stored energy. Employees are required to have specific training, and authorized employees will have their own locks and tags. Employees and contractors are required to lock out when they are involved in service or maintenance activities such as installing, setting up, adjusting, inspecting, or modifying equipment. All equipment has specific lockout procedures that are posted. The lockout-tagout log on the machine must be filled out before work is completed. Each person working on equipment must have their lock on the equipment. Group lockout boxes are available if multiple people need to work on equipment. Tagout is not allowed on site. All work on equipment must include lockout-tagout. If guards are removed, the machine must be locked out or a safe work permit must be obtained from EHS. Forklifts and walk-behinds. Forklifts are used in the warehouse areas of the facility. Only trained and authorized personnel are allowed to operate a forklift or walk-behind. Operators must attend training yearly and demonstrate competency when operating a forklift in order to obtain a license on site. This license can be denied at any time if Nypro Mebane rules are not followed. Contractors and temporaries cannot operate a forklift unless they have been certified through Nypro. Pedestrians always have the right-of-way. Pedestrians need to exercise caution when working or walking near forklift activity. Contractors. Contractors bring special hazards to the worksite. It is of the utmost importance to communicate all work plans to coordinate production schedules. Contractors may also need additional training before work begins. Contractors are responsible for following all rules at Nypro Mebane and training their employees. Contractors must read and sign the contractor's agreement. Failure to abide by all the rules could result in termination for the site. Contractors are not permitted to use any Nypro Mebane equipment, including PPE. Warning signs and barrier tape must be used to block off areas you will be working in. Tools and equipment need to be neatly and safely stored in designated areas to prevent accidents. Please do not hesitate to ask if you have any questions about policies, procedures, or processes in the plant. Nypro Mebane's goal is zero accidents, where safety is first, and we are our brother's keeper. Have a great and safe day.